What a blessing to stand before the throne of the Master, the one who dispenses grace abundantly, the one who accompanies us through our trials, and the one who struggles alongside us in our weakness. What a privilege! Today, in humility and simplicity, let us approach Him by reflecting on a subject that is as important as it is timeless. The King versus the kings and the kingdoms of the world. The King versus the kings and the kingdoms of the world. Let us journey through this by going through history. Consider Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar and Hammurabi, whose court of laws sought to govern with justice, yet relied on the might of empire. Move forward to the common era, and we find Rome with its Caesars expanding dominion through conquest. Even closer to home, here in Texas, we recall the Caddo Kingdom, a powerful network of indigenous tribes governing what is now Eastern Texas, Louisiana, and parts of Oklahoma. Beyond this, we must mention the Mongolian Empire, the largest in human history by landmass, stretching from Eastern Europe to China under the leadership of Genghis Khan, or Genghis Khan as the Chinese will call him. His empire was built on knowledge, military genius, and unity. Yet, no matter how vast these kingdoms were, one truth remains. They were time-bound. They could conquer lands, they could conquer cultures, they could conquer peoples, but they could not conquer time. And they certainly could not conquer death. Now, contrast these with the king we are celebrating today. He was not born in a palace, but in a stable. He did not ascend a golden throne, but was lifted up upon a wooden cross. He is the carpenter of Nazareth, who stood before Pilate not as a vanquished prisoner, but as a victorious witness to truth. When Pilate asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Notice his answer. "Do you say this of your own accord, or did others tell you about me?" Then he declared boldly, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my attendants will fight for me." But his kingdom is not established by sword. It is a kingdom of freedom. It is a kingdom of compassion. And it is the kingdom of truth. While the first kingdom of the kings and emperors of the world is marked by expanding territories through violence, through subjugation, through domination, we see a very sharp contrast. The book of Revelation calls him a faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, the ruler of the kings of the earth. While earthly kings conquer nations, he conquers sin, he conquers death. While earthly kings rise and fall, his kingdom endures forever. Think of this, my dear brothers and sisters. The kings of the world ride on mighty horses, symbols of war and power and might. But this king that we are talking about enters Jerusalem on a donkey, a symbol of humility and peace. He is the one that tells us through the prophet Isaiah, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has come to deliver the captives, to stand with the poor, with the marginalized, to declare a year of favor of the Lord. This is the king we are talking about. The kings of the world divide to rule, but this king unites to save. He builds walls to keep others out. He breaks barriers to bring all into his fold. So we can see that these empires and emperors and kings confine their rulership or their kingdom or their leadership by boundaries, by language, by culture, by class. But this one that we are talking about, none of this is a barrier. All of this is broken. All of this is melted. St. Paul was right, that in Christ there is no Jew, there is no Gentile. That is the king we are talking about. St. Paul understood this paradox when he wrote, "It is in my weakness that I am strong." The world's kings seek strength in domination, but Christ finds power in service. The prophet Daniel saw this kingdom in his vision. He beheld one like a son of man coming to the Ancient of Days, receiving a dominion that is everlasting, a kingship that shall not be destroyed. That is the king we are talking about. And so I ask you today, which kingdom do you stand with? Will you bow to the fleeting empires of the world that are time-bound, that cannot conquer death, that cannot conquer sin? This kingdom that have arisen and have fallen out of existence, and they will still come and still go out of existence? Or are you going to stand with the eternal King? Will you take your burdens? Will you take your orders from this king? Or you will take your orders from the ones who conquer by violence, but this one king that we're talking about, who rules by compassion? Which are you going to stand with? He is the king who stands with us in our weakness, who journeys with us in our struggles, and who lifts us from nothingness to greatness. He does not reign from a distance, but rules from the midst of his people, giving hope to the hopeless and strength to the weary. We therefore join the saints, the martyrs, and the angels throughout the ages, declaring in one voice, Viva Cristo Rey! Viva Cristo Rey! Long live Christ the King! Long live Christ the King!